During the Vietnam War, American pilots were terrified of one man, a North Vietnamese ace who had supposedly shot down 13 U.S. aircraft. A ghost in a MiG who seemed untouchable. Not the ghost of Kiev, but this guy's name is Colonel Toom. There was just one problem. He never existed. Or did he? By the late 1960s, the Vietnam Air War was quite intense. American pilots in their F-4 Phantoms were clashing with the North Vietnamese MiG-17s, 15s, 19s, and 21s over the Vietnamese skies. The Phantoms started taking some losses, especially the early ones, before they had guns mounted on them. But in the ready rooms of U.S. naval carriers, a name started circulating among pilots. That name was Colonel Toom, or sometimes referred to as Colonel Toon. The story went like this. There was this highly skilled North Vietnamese pilot racking up kill after kill. The number they agreed on was 13 confirmed kills. This said, he was supposedly fearless, tactical, and had an incredible understanding of American air tactics and aircraft. For the American pilots, this was an infamous name, and Colonel Toom would become a legend. How this started and the origins of Colonel Toom is quite simple. There was a photograph. A North Vietnamese MiG-17 with a tail number 3020 was spotted bearing rows of red victory stars on its fuselage. To American intelligence, these stars meant kills, and there was a lot of them. This was the idea, or this, I should say, was Colonel Toom's plane. But here's the catch, and what the Americans did not fully understand. The Vietnamese People's Air Force did not assign victory stars to individual pilots. Rather, they painted them on the aircraft itself. For every kill claimed by anyone who ever flown that plane, they would put a star in it. One jet could carry the star of a dozen different pilots. This is something the U.S. Navy failed to recognize. And what would happen is the legendary Toom, or name Colonel Toom, would become from this. So how did the name Colonel Toom disappear? Well, in the most incredible fashion ever. On May 10th, 1972, during Operation Linebacker, U.S. Navy pilot and legend Lieutenant Randy Duke Cunningham and his radar operator, Lieutenant William Irish Driscoll, were flying their F-4J iconic Showtime 100 over North Vietnam. They've already downed 2 MiGs this day when they found themselves locked in a one-on-one dogfight with a legendary MiG-17 pilot. They thought it was Colonel Toom. This pilot showed an incredible display of maneuvering, aircraft performance, and understanding of the American Phantom. The dogfight was intense. Cunningham later described looking across in the vertical of this pilot and seeing nothing but fear, nothing but calmness, and just 2 goggles.
I saw a little set of Gomer goggles with a Gomer scarf, and we were going canopy to canopy. Came over the top like this, and he shot out here ahead of me. I broke to get out of his tracers, unloaded, went down, and trapped him at my 6 o'clock, which is the wrong place to be. Unloaded the airplane, got 500 knots, working back to the horizon, and then went pure vertical, but 4 or 5 Gs. Forced the overshoot here with him down below me. Stood on full rudder, full right stick, which causes the airplane to kind of flow around like this and come around. Now, I'm sitting, and I remember thinking at this position, Gomer, you just died. So I'm starting to bring my weapon system on to bear. He waits till my nose is committed, and then he put out his Benson and Hedges, broke into me, forced the overshoot, left rudder, left stick, rolled. And this is called a rolling scissors.
Eventually, Cunningham won the fight. The MiG went down. Cunningham returned home, and his Phantom was actually destroyed on the way home. But Cunningham was a legend. Cunningham would also become America's first naval ace, and to my understanding, he was America's last naval ace, at least in the Vietnam War. This is the end of Colonel Toom, because that was when he was supposedly shot down. But in all honesty, and truth always comes later, historians would confirm that the man he shot down was not Colonel Toom, but a pilot's named Do Hang. A MiG-17 pilot, not a colonel, and definitely not an ace. But he was a good pilot. So, who was Colonel Toom? If he was never real, was there any truth to it? Yes, there was. North Vietnam had 2 aces. They had more, or 2 premier aces. The most famous is Nguyen Van Cook. He is the highest scoring Vietnamese ace. He claims 9 victories, 7 were confirmed in the United States. He was a MiG-21 pilot. Second place was Nguyen Van Bay. 7 kills as MiG-17. These two guys were legends. They fought very effectively for an outnumbered and outmatched Air Force, and they still aced. Now, just like every war, there's going to be misinformation and myths. We all know the Russia-Ukraine war, as I mentioned earlier, the Ghost of Kiev, which we all have heard of, but we know is not real. However, it inspired a lot of people in Ukraine in the beginning stages of that war. Aces will always be cool, no matter what war, no matter what era, no matter what side. He may not have been real, but damn, the stories are pretty awesome. And that would be it for Colonel 2. Thank you for watching. If you like this, please subscribe. Like, comment, everything you want to do. I just appreciate y'all watching. Goodbye.